I've got a kind of weird background in that I started off working in physical medicine as an osteopath. And then I retrained looking at the way the mind and body interact, because I found a lot of my clients that I saw, well, they could have physical problems that quite often you needed to address issues they had in other areas of their life. So I've kind of got feet in two interesting ponds: physical health and emotional and psychological well-being. And as a result of those two things, I'm able to see things from quite a different perspective than a lot of people in either one of those two camps. I got to a point where I was working with loads of people, and I seemed to have a kind of innate ability to get to the core of what people's problems were. And so very rapidly they'd come to see me and I'd ask them a question, and they'd often stop and say, "Oh, well, that's a great question. Wow." And suddenly at that point you could see this really interesting moment, which I've kind of been fascinated with all my life, where you see real change happening in real people's lives. And I noticed this happening a few times, so I kind of noted down the questions that I'd come up with in those moments. And there seemed to be a pattern, about 10 roughly questions. And then I started to blog about them, and people all around the world would send me little messages saying, "I read your blog, I asked that question, and my life seemed to change." When we think of a new project, we have a brilliant idea. Maybe we wake up in the morning, we've dreamt a brilliant idea. And then as soon as we wake up, we kind of start to realize why it wouldn't work, and how much money it would cost, and how we haven't got the time. And we stamp and squash an idea. It's like you wouldn't believe. And we believe that everyone actually has brilliant, genius ideas in them, but they don't allow them to grow. So the first question we need to ask ourselves probably is, what if? What if I could actually do these things? Those ideas that you have, that you dream of, that you toy with growing into something extraordinary. What if you could actually do that? In the 10 questions to ask for success, you're provided with the most extraordinary, life-changing questions that you could ever wish for. I mean, I've read loads and loads of self-help books. Maybe you have too. And some of them are brilliant, but you have to wade through quite a lot of them. And what you often get is really interesting insights and advice and stories. But what the 10 questions really does is it strips a lot of that away and says, actually, what you don't need is more advice and more solutions and more strategies. What you really need to know is the solutions for a fantastic life are actually inside you. And to unlock them, what you need are some brilliant questions, not any old random questions, but the right questions, which if you ask yourself, you'll suddenly realize your future is just open wide.